Hello, it's John from Vistapan again. Today we have a really handy tip for you, and it involves car door trim. Well, you're probably wondering, what does a pan have to do with car door trim? Which you can find, by the way, in any auto parts store or even in Walmart's. Well, a lot of instruments have mutes to lessen their sound. Sometimes it can save a gig for you, or sometimes at home you're trying to practice, the neighbors are complaining, or your own family. Too much noise, too loud. So a mute can be very handy, and you see other instrumentalists like trumpeters use them. And this is a very good way to mute the pan, because the pan has a edge of the skirt, and car door trim happens to fit right over it very easily. There's two kinds, however. One has some glue in it. You may want to avoid that. Just get the kind that doesn't have glue. And you'll find it just basically snaps on the bottom edge of the skirt. So if you're doing this, you may want to use about a 3-foot section. A little less than 3 foot will cover the bottom of the skirt on this edge. That's usually enough. If you really want to quiet the pan, you could do it all the way around. That takes about 6 feet. You can also use a small piece if you have a note. If the pan has a little bit too much ring for your taste, maybe it's got an over ring on the skirt, this will also help to do it. Some people use a magnet on the inside of the skirt for that purpose, but you can also sometimes get better results. You have to play around with it. You might use a short piece like this. That might give you the desired, or something maybe about twice the size of that. Something you can play around with. Put it around the area of the note that bothers you the most on the bottom edge of the skirt. So the purpose of this is that it takes out a lot of the high end of the pan. So the pan doesn't quite have the same sizzle and brightness while it's getting softer. It does get softer and quieter, and it loses some of the brightness, but that tends to be a good thing, because that's the edge of the sound that tends to bother people. So it happens on gigs also. It's saved me a couple times. You can play as, a more advanced player. You can just play softer. You can play at a whisper. But you'll find if you have a long engagement, a long gig, it's not nearly as fun as being able to hit away. And if you use the mute, you can play with more force and have more fun, and not have to worry about being too loud for the room that you're playing in. So it has a couple different uses, and it's very easy to do. And in a moment, I'm going to put some on and show you what it sounds like. So now I have it on, and if you look here, you can see it. I ran it up to about here. I have about 2.5 feet on the front. See, it looks very nice because it's chrome looking, and your pan is chrome. I forgot to mention before, the two colors it readily comes in are chrome and black, which is very fortunate for pan players. Those are the two most popular, finishes you see on pan, chrome and black. So you can get either depending on your pan. It looks nice, and it does cut down on the edge of the sound quite a bit.